What is going on, AWGFAM? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I got squatters steal soldiers home until bikers appear. Just looking forward to this one. But before I jump into it, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Check back every day at noon because there will be a new video. Come watch it. I promise you'll like it. No, I don't. I don't promise that you'll like it. Hey, you may hate it. Who gives a fuck? I know I don't. Also, podcast coming up. Saturdays, 9:30. Make sure you guys are there. And let's jump into it.
Squatters steal soldiers home until bikers appear. It was a huge, seething pile of bold-faced lies. What made it worse was there was nothing he could legally do about it. It was beyond insulting, especially for someone who had given years of service to his country. Thankfully, there was a biker gang that sympathized with his plight, and they were ready to act. For Michael Sharkey, serving in Hawaii was a vacation, at least compared to the previous tour in Afghanistan. He was beyond proud to serve in the US military. He also counted as lucky stars that his wife was supportive of their nomadic lifestyle. But he would soon find out that not everyone respected the uniform. It started with a call from his wife. Her panicked, tear-laced words echoed through the phone and painted a shocking picture. The plan was for her to go to their home in Newport Richey, Florida, and get things ready for them to relocate after his term ended. It turned out the house wasn't empty. Michael felt the bile rise into the back of his throat. It seemed two people had taken up residency in the Sharkey home and refused to leave. It was a pile of lies right from the get-go, as the man claimed he had been given permission to stay there rent-free in exchange for fixing up the place. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. He had no idea who these people were. And by the time the police stepped in with answers, Michael was spitting fire. It turned out the two squatters, Julio Ortiz and Fatima Cardosa, were ex-cons with a combined served sentence of 12 years. Things, however, got worse and fast. The world no longer made sense. The sheriff's office tried to explain there was nothing they could do. Since the criminal couple had taken up residency, it was a civil matter and had to be taken to a judge for a formal eviction notice.
Yeah, and that right there is the fucking problem. That is not their residency. They do not fucking live there at all. Remove them from the house. I don't give a shit what anybody says. If it is my fucking property and I tell you to get them off of my fucking property, get them off of my fucking property. I don't give a shit how long they've been living under that fucking roof. That's my fucking roof. That's my fucking house. Get them the fuck out of my house. That is my problem right now, is we care more about how people feel than doing what is right. Hello? Somebody is living in their house. Get them out. There's nothing we can do. Then why did you sign up to be a law enforcement officer? That is called breaking and entering. If they did not have permission to be there, that is called breaking and entering. Y'all got to do better. I cannot believe that you would just stand there and be like, there's nothing that we can do. No, you can get them out of the house. It's either that or you're going to get people who are willing to go in there and remove them from the house. 12 years they did for time. They did time as cons. No, absolutely not. They do not have more rights than I do in my home. You've lost your damn mind. It's a civil matter. Yeah, I'm about to show you how civil I'm going to be about it. America, you need to wake up. If somebody is able to be in your home, and then you are told that the police are not allowed to do anything about it, you need to wake up to what is happening. If somebody is in your property, in your home, and you are telling them they need to get out, you should be able to forcibly remove them from your property. Period. I will gladly beat the brakes off your ass and drag you out of my home if you do not want to leave my home. I have no problems with that at all. And I don't think anybody should get in trouble for that. You told somebody to leave and they won't get out, I should be able to beat their ass. until they get out, or until they have been knocked unconscious and I can drag their ass out. Period.
Were they serious? Two slimy thieves had more right to his home than he and his wife did. And he was serving his country. This was insane. His rage boiled over when the news outlets got wind of the story and he saw the footage of the people that had stolen his home. The filthy layers stood, bold-faced in front of cameras and yelled how they were clean and had been given permission. Meanwhile, they had dozens of buckets around the yard to collect water because no utilities were turned on. The footage cut to his distraught, teary wife. Michael couldn't take much more. Until his release papers came through, there was no way for him to go to Florida. It was beyond frustrating to feel so powerless, especially for a long-serving soldier. Part of him hated the glorification of his dramas over the news feeds. However, it would turn out the footage was his saving grace. The infuriating situation didn't just land on sympathetic ears, it landed on some pretty scary brothers and sister. He had heard of bikers doing charity work. Things like escorting them to court so their horrible parents couldn't intimidate them. Or driving special needs kids to school so bullies left them alone. But this one group that had got wind of the Sharkies' plight weren't just bikers. They were military veteran bikers. The carjacking, drug-dealing couple were rainbows and kittens compared to what this collection of old soldiers had gone through, and they had a plan. There would be no violence. But their intimidating promise of peacefully making the squatters uncomfortable held endless terrifying innuendo. The engines were barely running and ready to converge on the Sharky home when Michael's wife called with an update. News of the escort had already reached Ortiz and Cardosa. Despite all the lies and screaming promises they would stay, it turned out they had done the smart thing and scuttled off in the middle of the night. The tactic had worked. Now, they had to deal with the aftermath. He was more than grateful for the help. After all, soldiers stuck together. But even with all the cleaning his wife had done before he finally was discharged home, the wear and tear from the squatters made the rage surface again. There was so much work ahead of them. It would take months and so much money to get their little nest back into something livable. But at least with the help of his
And the sad, we're fixing it up. Yeah, it sure looks like it. It looks like you've treated everything else in your life like shit. Because if you actually cared about anything in your life, you wouldn't treat it like that. That's not how you would treat it. If you actually gave a shit about anything in your life, it would not look like that. I'm sorry. It wouldn't. I'm so sick of this shit. When are we going to be allowed to have our rights back? When are we going to have our rights? How is it that they have rights in my home? Don't get me wrong. I believe in people's civil liberties. But I also believe in the fact that if you're in my home and it's not your home, obviously there's no utilities on. And this is the way that I found it. I would beat the brakes off your ass all the way out of that fucking house. I don't care. There ain't any law between what's right and what's wrong. And you being in my home when you're not supposed to be is wrong. I'm going to handle that. I don't need no police for that. I'll handle it. Because it looks like you need a lesson.
His community, their home was finally theirs again. He just felt sorry for whoever owned the next building the squatter couple decided to steal.
Well, I guess that's the end. Thank God. Like, I'm so glad that they got their house back. But it's so ridiculous that the police couldn't do anything. What do you mean? It sounds more like you chose not to do anything to me. And that is my problem with the police at this point. Oh, our hands are tied. Your hands are tied between what's right and what's wrong. Really. So your hands are tied on what morality is then. If that's the case, then I don't want you as my police. I don't. If that's how you feel about it and there ain't nothing you're going to do because there's a difference between right and wrong, I'm done with this shit. I don't want you as my police officers. Now, if you look at that and you go, that's wrong, get the hell out now. Or you need to arrest them because it's not a civil matter. That's a criminal case. But what the fuck do I know? I'm just a dum-dum. That's all. But let me know what you think about this. Leave me something in the comments. I love you, AWGFAM, and my XMCFAM. I'm out.